I can't help it, but as soon as you shift into first gear, you immediately feel why this little car is so popular among everyone who loves driving.
Mazda MX-5 on the Automotive channel. I'm actually surprised it's taken this long for it to show up here. Welcome to new review.
Tram-ta-da-da! Hello! Look, by far the cheapest 4th generation Mazda MX-5 for sale far and wide. For a simple reason. They'll tell you right away when you shake hands at a dealership. The reason is that AutoS got a car where someone tampered with the odometer. Right now I see 106, but they'll highlight it for you in bold, like this. It doesn't match reality. Someone probably rolled it back by about 10,000, but honestly, you never really know. What is the car like? Physically, completely normal. It runs. Well, it has tires that I would probably replace. They're pretty worn out already. I probably won't be doing them any favors now, right? Otherwise, it's actually nice as a learner's car or for someone who likes to drive. Doesn't want to spend much and mostly wants to ride. So let's go. The G160 version from 2015 with a 6-speed manual. The first version of the Gearbox. Mazda made 5 of them for this generation of the car, and for a simple reason. The first one and the second one, and then the others, the sort was already better. But they still knew it wasn't quite right, and there was always something that could be improved. This car, with the version 1 Gearbox, watch out for it. It's the biggest pain of an otherwise very nice, reliable little sports car with a very good engine that doesn't have many major issues. Let's talk about it. Why? When shifting aggressively, second and third gear can go out. The synchronizers themselves can fail, and the gearbox can suddenly start making noise. It can really strip its gear teeth like that, and then it's done for. At the same time, the gearbox works with a single mass flywheel, which is a bit rattly and not exactly comfortable. Personally, in a little sports car like this, I don't mind it, but even then, you need to adjust your approach a bit and be gentler and smoother with the clutch, a bit more like in a race car. But with the gearbox, you have to go slow again, because it's not really like a race car, it's a small, lightweight, sporty car. The MX-5 is absolutely the most likable thing for a simple reason: its weight. This car weighs 1010 kilos, so you can have brakes with just a 280mm diameter, and as a result, you get a suspension that stays nicely compliant even on rough or bumpy roads. It turns well, and you don't care if there are bumps, potholes or holes. It just works as it should, and you don't have to worry about anything. You're able to brake nicely even on a rough road, and you're never at the limit. At the same time, the weight and smaller size of the car mean you're not carrying unnecessary inertia. This lets you handle situations even near the car's limits. The car's limits, you can move the car, drive it, play with it, and not be afraid of it. It's a car that literally teaches you the principles of physics, and at the same time, the 2-liter version came standard with a limited slip differential on the rear axle, which means that even though we don't have a lot of horsepower, the little car is capable. I'm going 75, you know, and I'm already having fun. The little car is capable of playfully sliding around in lots of different places without scaring you and without anything really happening. The tires are tiny, so they're cheap too. The speeds are such that nobody can do anything to you, because you're basically just going bicycle speed. You're going 15 kilometers per hour. And it's actually funny. Well, anything else just wouldn't fit in there. But we're driving a Mazda MX-5, so it doesn't matter. Man, I'm having fun. I'm just having fun. Also, watch out for this. Sometimes the throttle body modules act up, and then the car feels sluggish or goes into limp mode. Hey, let's grab second and tuck in. That's good, you don't need any space at all. I'm having fun. Hey, what does a person need? I'm having fun. No space at all. You can't turn around on this road. But as you saw, of course it's possible. And simply, when you have little weight and your rear is literally at the back wheels, you know exactly where they are. So the car never feels awkward underneath you. And you can drive like this all day and you'll bring back a machine that maybe has 0.5 less on the tires. You buy a tire normally for 1,200 crowns each. Does it even matter at all? Well, so you won't smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, but you'll have 1.5, right? So the tires will last you a month and that's it, problem solved. I like how the car really moves beautifully on its suspension. Even when you drive over bumps, potholes and all that, because it's just so light. If all cars stayed this small, basically weightless, I don't know how else to say it, if they just stayed light, simply put, we'd be doing really well as drivers. Sure, mass provides protection. Mass makes a car safer. The momentum of the car means that, for example, on the highway, when you are driving fast and far, you don't get tired at all. Quite the opposite, actually. This isn't a highway car. It gets tiring at 130 kilometers per hour. Because once this little thing is pushing through the air, it just doesn't want to keep going. You have to stay on the gas to keep it pulling forward. If the wind picks up, you can really feel it. But this car is exactly the proof that the concept, the use of sporty driving, isn't just about power and that's it. Many manufacturers make mistakes these days, especially as electrification takes things in a strange direction. It's actually even worse. I wouldn't say it's better, it's worse. From the perspective of how heavy cars are on the road today, it's actually just pointless. And this car, where it actually takes you quite a while to find your driving position, because the seat mounts are high. I would need to sit a little bit lower. At the same time, I can't put the steering wheel where I'd like to have it. On the other hand, the gear shift knob is great. That's just right for me. So once I get used to having the steering wheel a little bit farther away, so I don't bump my legs here, because there's not that much space there either. Whoa, well, it's just so much fun because it's so light. So it's just not a car where, like in those modern sports cars, you can last for hours on end without anything bothering you. You'd have to, of course, sure. I can tell you that I'll drive it to Italy and I don't mind it. But the truth is, I didn't actually get any rest on the way. On the other hand, that's exactly what I want to get to. The idea of sporty driving doesn't mean that a sports car has to be perfect at everything. I'm glad that it's not perfect, that it does some things a little wrong. And that's for a simple reason. It suddenly becomes more intense. At the same time, the power steering setup in the 4th generation MX-5 is very good. The car may have electric steering, but you can really feel what the car is doing underneath you. And you get exactly that sporty confidence when you lean on the front end. And it's always the front end that holds you. And it's the rear that won't hold you and is immediately ready to get playful. You probably like, otherwise you wouldn't be sitting in a Mazda MX-5. I think that pretty much sums it up. You can drive it smoothly, by feel. The gearbox, if you take your time with it, is nicely mechanical and pleasant. Basically, nothing bothers this car at all. It's Japanese. Japanese people have a short torso, so when you sit here, I'm 187 centimeters tall. The wind keeps blowing on my head. You sit here as if you're perched. Ideally, I'd need to be about 10 centimeters shorter or do something with the seat. Ideally, put in a much thinner one. That would help too. Its Japanese origin also reflects the paint quality, the quality of corrosion protection. Watch out for that. With an MX-5, most people keep it in the garage and use it as a weekend car. Then there's the brand Ideal. But if by chance you find one that someone abused over the winter, then 10 years is 10 years, yeah? Japanese sheet metal painted with a Japanese process where it's barely even 70 microns thick. That's just how it is. Beautiful, beautiful. Now I'm going 95, that's first.
Of course, the history of our car was checked by CB, and believe it or not, in this case, it's a bit tarnished. Because in 2019, during the import of the car from Germany, someone rolled back the odometer by a few thousand. By the way, Auto ESA immediately informs everyone about this. It's even in the official vehicle description, and for us, that's definitely a thumbs up for such an approach. After all, it's a bargain, the cheapest MX-5 here. So that's that. In total, there are almost 5,000 Mazda MX-5s driving around here. Specifically, 4,922 units. 86% of them are imported. And if we're talking about the 4th generation, there are 943 of those cars. Exactly 50% of all 4th generation models here are imported. The tested version with the 2-liter engine is also the most common, with 332 of them.
Make sure to check if the air conditioning works when you're choosing an MX-5 of this generation. They might tell you, well, it's just not filled right now or something like that. No, the AC lines here are actually designed pretty poorly. And that pipe is very often cracked. It really happens all the time. It's completely normal for the air conditioning to not work in those cars. And then also be careful if someone mistakes this car for a racing machine and keeps pushing it hard, and it's not just at this modest speeds around 70 kilometers per hour. Well, you've seen a few 4th generation models for sale, and occasionally a car pops up with cracked engine mounts. They only cost a few bucks, so that's fine, but it's still a stupid and costly repair. Logically, the engine has to be suspended. It's quite a job. Well, let's close it up somehow, right? Maybe to the left here, but come on. You drive that like Belmondo, seriously. What did he have? A Lotus 7? No, he didn't. A cop or a detective? Camille. But that's how you feel. You're kind of carefree like that, in a time of crazy chaos, nonsense, and cumbersome things. Suddenly, you leave all those problems behind. And you take a few spins at 60 an hour. You rush home, and you can be pleasant to everyone around you for the rest of the day and reply to emails full of unsolicited stuff, right? That's the Mazda MX-5. From an ergonomic point of view, I could imagine that the door handle here, actually the placement of the mirrors on the door, could be a bit different, because here I don't want to be rude, you know. That's why it bothers my knee. My knee is just sticking out like this, and it hurts against the door whenever I need to take my foot off the clutch. But as we talked about, precisely because it's not perfect, that's what makes it intense, right? So this is the end of the test, friends. The 4th generation Mazda MX-5. On the Automotive channel. I enjoy that. It's just completely carefree. Absolutely carefree thing. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. Otherwise, you wouldn't have finished it. And I'll see you again next time. 360,000. Would you pay that much for it? When you see how effortlessly you can have fun with it, and because it's so light, it just takes it all in stride. It's something to think about, isn't it? That's also why we see so many of them at track days, and every time I teach in that car, I'm really glad to be sitting in it again, reminding myself what it's all about. Because this, as has already been said, passes on values and teaches the principles of physics. The value is that it teaches you to appreciate driving and those principles, and that you just learn them, plain and simple, thanks to its clear communication. Bye. See ya.